the steps and the time that occurred to be probably interesting for me would be how you deal with me. And what Chiara was saying, following it up. If it's a no for the moment, means that you chose the wrong moment.
Why don't we start with a quick introduction of all of you? Maybe we start with Adriana, and then one of each can just quickly pop in. Tell our audience about who you are, what work you have been doing, and what sort of experience do you bring to the stage?
Absolutely. Very good morning, everyone. I'm Adriana Valentini. I'm Italian. I moved to London back in 2014, and I spent there almost 10 years, so a decade. Of course, I used to work for hotels and private member club as a sommelier. As a head sommelier, of course, I started my career. And now at the moment, I am taking a little break to be with my family back to Milano. So I'm physically in Italy. But of course, I'm planning to be back on business very soon.
I'm Italian as well. I'm from Florence, and I've been living for 12 years in this country, in UK. I started my career in hospitality, fine restaurant as a sommelier, and I took a break to join retail. I've been in retail for 3.5 years, and it's nice, but I'm planning to go back to restaurant as a sommelier. I am a Valpolicella wine ambassador. I like the opportunity that Italy gives through the consortium to join level of ambassador throughout the region. And yeah.
Yeah, hi. I'm Italian again. My name is Beatrice Bessi, and I'm from Italy, from Emilia Romagna, and I moved in London. Now it's around more than 8 years ago. I always work in hospitality for all my life. I started probably illegally when I was 14, and I never left. I did a lot of different careers within. I started as a bartender. I was a acrobatic bartender, became barista, and after I was restaurant manager of a one-star Michelin restaurant in Italy. And there it's where the shift happened to the sommelier life and to the sommelier passion. I moved in London for this reason. So I just work only in two places really, just to pursue this career. And I am advanced court of master sommelier. And now at the moment I am halfway through the master sommelier exam. So hopefully to get it done in a few years. And at the moment I am head sommelier in London as well, in a hotel property with the restaurant. Very busy property, yeah.
Amazing. Wish you luck for your exam. How about you, Dario?
Thank you.
So I'm Dario Barbato. I'm from another country. I'm from Italy also. So all Italians in this panel is good. It's great. Well, I'm always scared to talk about my background, because since I got to 200 years, I'm 200 years old. I started in 1990, and my career started from the very basic bar, and then I developed through my experience in ski resorts. I worked many in Italy, and then in seasides in Sardinia, and so it's been a really very long journey, which brought me then to increase my experience working for QE2 in all around the world. And then I had experience in Bermuda in a fantastic resort next to the ocean. Then in 2013, I moved it was time for me to give a change to my career, and I moved to UK, where I found a completely different world. I thought that my wine study in Italy was more than enough, but when I arrived in England, I realized that it wasn't. So I started WSET courses, and then I went through all these this process, level 3 diploma, and now I'm just started the Master of Wine course, and which I know that it is very tough, but I'm so focused on this, and this is my priority. On top of this, I got my role. I work for a company which runs 31 restaurants in all UK, and I'm the wine. I do my wine selection, the design, the wine list, and also recently I got also the beverage department to look after. So I'm quite busy.
When I was jotting down this panel, one thing that hit me and which I really, really liked is that you all come from a very different facility experience. If I talk about it, Rihanna, she comes from head of beverage, wine club. When I talk about Dario, he comes from individual restaurants. If I talk about Chiara, she has an experience of Rise and Wine, which is like an independent wine shop and bar. When I talk about Beatrice, it's like 5-star hotel and restaurant. So it's a very different facilities that you all are bringing today to the webinar. And that means we are going to know more different experiences, more perspectives, and I think more different opinions from all of you. So that would be great. So let me set the stage by my first question, and these are all towards the topic and from the brands. So the first question that I would like to ask all 4 of you is, so tell me 2 trends that you see in 2024.
I mean, I would say my current situation. I'm managing a pretty classic wine list overall. So you will always see the demand of regions like Burgundy, Bordeaux, and these kind of things. But 2023 has been extremely hard for wine buyers because we were affected by a lot of prices and a lot of also different taxes. And of course, for example, just to make an example regarding Burgundy, the vintage 2021, that is still kind of the latest one in the market with Sam 22, was definitely affected by loss of grapes. And so the prices were skyrocketing, to put it was a very big challenge to have good Burgundy and prices and availability even. I would say this led in the last few months, and I think it's going to be also very important to pay attention to this also next year. I think people are craving alternatives because you will always have people, guests requesting certain brand and certain labels. So you cannot really stay without if your wine list is focused on a classic style. But people are craving Chardonnays and are craving classic winemaking made with better value for money. So I definitely expanded all my Bourgogne, for instance, that I didn't have any Bourgogne Blanc till 2 years ago. I didn't need it. I could have a Gevrey or I could have a Puligny Montrachet for a very easy price. And now it's not really the case anymore. So my wine list slowly expanded towards the minor appellation that are becoming better and better. So I have 4 different Bourgogne Blanc with the sub appellations. I have different Bourgogne Rouge. And also this affected kind of also my decisions in the buying on other regions. So I know I have to keep the Chardonnays and the other options for pretty classics wines also in across other regions. So I can actually drive our guests to have a journey in regions that are not probably maybe their first choice, but they can provide the same quality and the same standards. And also, I mean, my wine list, as I said, is pretty classic. And after I have wines from Morocco, Uruguay, China, Brazil, and so on. So with definitely some quirks here and there. But yeah, it's definitely probably, if I'm talking about price on the wine list, definitely below £300. It's where my focus has been, and I'm sure will be also. So it's the value for money. It's amazing bottle of wine without breaking the wallet, and also minor appellations in the more established region that my buying has been focusing on. So
Understood. Great. What about you, Adriana?
So for me, I would definitely agree with Beatrice. What she's saying is that the people now are very much focused on finding the best they can get from the money-wise in terms of price on the wine list. But at the same time, they want to be linked to what they really like. So they don't want to miss out an opportunity to really enjoy why they are out, and they want to find their usual brand sometimes. But of course, they need to treat themselves in a good way at the moment. And we all learned after COVID that really price makes the sales. Right. So for me, the recent focus have been more oriented to, for example, if we skip Burgundy to Beaujolais, for example, it was something to explore that I really never really done before. And for me now, for example, having some Moulin à Vin, some Fleury on the wine list was something, different, but at the same time to promote as an alternative, as Beatrice was saying. And if we're talking about New World, I'm just thinking, for example, that my research has been focusing on the Chenin Blanc, but on the different style. So far, it has been always fresh and light. And now I'm looking for old vines because they're really, really going into the market with good prices for money at the moment, until probably they will reach a point where the price will go up again. Or if I'm thinking about Portugal, I can see that the Portuguese blend are really rocketing at the moment, but not just price in terms of what you can find in good wine list, both in red and in white version. And I think the Vinho Verde, for example, if I want to mention one, is a key, especially for how you can have in different style of environment, from a hotel background, from pubs, or from fine dining, and you can have such a great variety that can pair a lot of different cuisine. So I see people more focused on price, but still interested in finding what the sommelier or the people that are in front of them may recommend for a good meal. And I see this for both lunch or dinner or festive season.
Amazing. So from both of you, I think I'm hearing more of minor appellations also and alternatives which are going on. What about you, Dario? What is your opinion in this?
My opinion, and based on my experience with our restaurants, for the 2024, my research will be mainly based on the Prosecco, on Pinot Grigio, and Sauvignon, which basically these are the wines where the customer, they are more orientated on the selection. But also, it's not just a quality-wise. I believe that's what I notice, that's customers, they are interested in getting better wines, but what they are looking for is the way how the wine they present itself. Basically, I'm saying about the label. Some more work should be done where a wine, even if it's I don't want to say I don't like to use a cheap wine because it doesn't exist a cheap wine. Wines with a lower price, they can get a better value, even if they got a better presentation. I mean, like a person which has a nice dress looks much better if it's a dress scruffy. So I believe that's on next year, this will be my focus on wine. Wine they got obviously a decent quality, but a nice presentation, nice label, nice catch the eyes from the customers.
Of course, I'm coming from a different environment, which is retail. And my focus on 2024 it will be on local product, like English wines. My customer they get to understand, get to know, and they like how, especially the sparkling wine, are made. English wine has a market in this country and is growing as well. and my customer, they start to have also kind of healthy concern. So they don't really understand the origin of migraine and stuff, but of course it would be alcohol content, but my focus would be also in low intervention wines. That doesn't mean having a lower alcohol content, because this country had a duty increase since August, but less focus on sustainable wine, organic, elegant, with alternative, as Beatrice said. That would be my focus for this year.
Great. So just revising the points that all of you are seeing for 2024. So we are talking about minor appellations. We are talking about more stories. We are talking about value for money, loud and clear, that there's going to be a lot of emphasis on when it comes to purchase that will be given to value of money. We are talking about local products, but we are also talking about sustainability and no alcohol in the picture as well. So I think these are more on this, and also the labeling, as Dario mentioned. I think that is also going to be really, really important for people to not just see the price, but also see the labels and the packaging. So I think we have set the context, right? We have set the context of what sort of trends do we see now. So let's begin with the brand journey. And my question would be that how brands should approach you?
Well, nowadays it's really difficult because UK has a crowd market, but what is sometimes what a brand has make wrong is not being authentic or genuine. For instance, first of all, I would like to say that at the beginning, before a brand approach a sommelier or a restaurant, has to understand who is approaching. So, for instance, having a good knowledge through the website, and propose something that is according to what you're selling, for instance. And then having a story to tell is really important. Otherwise, you get confused and you don't stand out of the crowd, of course. Other would be, I really prefer a phone call. But then it needs to be, there is the need of following up, because a phone call is just died on its own if you don't follow. Email would be nice, but it's important also that the brand introduce itself in where you're working, in a restaurant, in a retail.
Yeah.
And that is the most important, because you have a face-to-face engagement. I really like when our brands or our rep, they bring wines, because you have to get to know better, especially if you want to introduce something new. Very important also to me is how the bottle looks like, because we buy wine first of all with eyes, and there is is the first sense that has to be appealed by. Important is label, bottle shape, bottle size as well. There are also would be nice introducing something that is a bottle is less weight, is less heavy. Many of brands, they start also in champagne, they start with reducing at least 8 grams of glass for their, let's say, entry-level wines. And that would be something that I recommend to many producers, because in terms of sustainability would be a nice approach to reduce weight on bottles then.
Amazing. How about you, Beatrice? How do you want brands to just come and see you, or you also prefer like a phone call or an email? What sort of approach do you prefer?
The first thing that for me is almost a no immediately, and is when they show up without any appointment, without any pre-agreement in the middle of the service. It means that for me they don't understand the hospitality and the industry we are in. Especially, if you want to approach a wine buyer, and a head sommelier most likely will be on the floor all day. So it puts pressure and it puts stress when we really don't need it, because you wouldn't go in your friend's house without asking them first, right? So why would you do it, right? And it makes me really not being actually very open to have a conversation, because it makes me understand that they don't understand the industry I'm in, especially after COVID and Brexit. All of us, more or less, we went through an understaffed situation. So even if, thanks God, my team, we are completely fine, doesn't mean that I have the time to spend during the service, in the middle of the service, to talk with somebody. So it's very always much appreciated when, they might come by, because of course maybe we don't have any contact. We didn't have any contact. We don't know each other. But ask for the email. Drop me an email. Require an appointment, and that's how we can start. Another thing that for me it's a big no. It's when you know again that I might be in my time frame. 1 hour, 40 minutes, half an hour. You're coming with 25 wines. What's the point to make me taste 25 wines again when I'm trying to manage a team, when I'm trying to be in a restaurant? We are not in an office that I can sit down and take my coffee. And so it's much appreciated when if I have to taste any wine, 6, 7, 8 wines, I would say it's the max. And also another thing, I think the way the brands are presenting themselves sometimes is a bit confusing. You cannot send me a PDF file or, I don't know, a Word file or whatever it is of 320 pages. Or your portfolio. We are talking about brands. We're talking about supplier bringing brands. You cannot send me a 325 PDF pages of, I don't know, without any, I don't know. I mean, I always make the time to go through what I need to go through. But can you imagine an head sommelier in the middle of the service with the current situation in 2023 that has to go through a portfolio of 300 pages, written like in the smallest font ever. So probably in a normal page would be 600 pages. So that's absolutely a big no. Unfortunately, there's still people doing that. And another big thing, as she said before, do your research. You're coming up to meet with me. I don't assume you know me, right? But you need to expect questions. And if you don't know what you're talking about, especially with certain type of sommeliers like me, that I like to have details. I like to know. You want to present me your brand, I need to know the blend. I need to know which grapes are in. I need to know I need to know the winemaking practices. If you don't know everything and the answer is, let me tell you, let me send you an email, let me ask, that's a wasted time for both of us. So how can you support a brand if you don't know it? If you don't expect question, I'm not a waiter. I'm not a normal consumer, unfortunately. That they're gonna be happy if you know there is white, if you know there is full body, if you know there is light body. I want to know what's in there. I want to know the story. I want to understand why you want to sell it to me and why should I buy it. Down to the quality, of course. But if you're not ready for the meeting, just do it another time when you're ready.
Great, Beatrice. How about you? Yeah, Adriana.
What Beatrice and Chiara were saying, that absolutely understandable, and I agree 100%. I think brands sometimes they don't do their research at the very beginning, and this is the first step into every new environment. They need to know who you are, so they need to approach you because they know that you are responsible for wine buyer all for because you are the head sommelier, they eventually will go for it. And second, most of the people that come and knock at your door, they physically want to get everything right now. So they don't understand that they are new. They need to be, by the way, coming to you in a certain way that, yes, I have this. How can I work with you? So they need to go a step back, probably at the very beginning, just to be there for you. For example, you have a wine list full of items and the wine that have a category, really precise one. But then at some point they see that you have another list that is smaller than the other one. Then there is the key part in which they made the research. They need to say, I have seen that you might need a second style of a grape variety, or in this country, you might be focusing more because I have a product that can be very much enjoyable at this price. So they can approach you already knowing you. The second most important thing, that I don't want any gift at the very beginning. I don't know you, so you don't have to bribe me. So you need to focus on who you are, why you want to be and to work with me, and especially what you can do for my team to be able eventually in an hotel to be listed, or in a private member club to go through a committee. Then eventually, maybe in 5 or 6 months' time, we'll be able to sell you. But the steps and the time that occurred to be probably interesting for me would be how you deal with me. And what Chiara was saying, following it up. If it's a no for the moment, means that you chose the wrong moment. But it might be the case that I like the wine because we go through appointment, as Beatrice was saying, as a schedule meeting. And then I can see 2 or 3 potential wine that I can see in my wine list. And then, of course, by approaching the team, involving the team, say, well, actually, I can sell it. I can see this as a story to tell to my guests. So I think the very 2-3 months are the most important ones in how to approach and to eventually come to a sale. When we go to portfolio tasting, it's always nice to get to know winemakers, and we know already our importers, our suppliers. But when it's a cold call, you always kind of probably already pre-anticipating their questions or their products. And so they need to treat you like, okay, I want you to embrace your idea or what you are or what your environment is. And then I can see probably a couple of things that you might want to taste. And again, as Dario was saying before, packaging. If the label doesn't strike me at the very beginning, I'm not interested in trying because I already other things that works perfectly. Why should I have yours? So it needs to be a very gentle and humble approach, but at the same time, schedule at the right moment. And definitely there must be a follow-up because we're all busy more than ever in this probably time of the time that we have all been living after COVID. So it needs to be absolutely spot on in terms of timing. This is my view on this.
Agreed, Adriana. What about you, Dario? Quick points on this?
Basically, I have another problem which Beatrix has because unfortunately I'm not on the floor, and I'm not. It's not easy to contact me, to be honest with you, because if someone send me samples, they can send me samples, and then this will be a gift for my colleagues in the office. I got my own philosophy. I don't buy wines. I don't buy products. I buy the person. For me, it's important the relation which I generate with the person. That is the most important thing. If I have a nice relation with the person, maybe I can be attracted working with this person, and then I can start to be interested in his portfolio, and maybe I can find something which can work for my wine list. But if you want to approach me just because you want to sell me wines, it's the wrong approach with me. On this, I'm very strict, and that is the reason why all my suppliers, they became also my friends, because I like the way how they interact with me, the way how they talk with me, because when you you got a nice relation. If sometimes you have a problem with, if you have a sort of a confidence or friendship or whatever, they can help you, they can assist you. While when you are working just with a brand, with someone which you want to sell you, if they are not on your side helping you, assisting you. That's why for me the best way to approach a person like me, maybe it will be during the events, or having first, as Adriana was saying, first building a relation or initial contact, talking and like this, and then we can move eventually in the future in a business together.
Great point. So what we are hearing for brands here, and especially because as Beatrice said, that she still sees brands making mistakes when it comes to approachability. So what we are hearing is know your buyer, know their portfolio, know their needs. But before that, the important thing is know their time, know their schedule, know the right way to approach them, be prepared with the right approach, I think is going to be more important. And the point that I really, really liked is what Dario mentioned is that you don't get into a discussion or a deal with a brand. First, you get into a discussion and deal with a person. So I think that relationship is more important than selling. So we agree that approachability is so important than the selling parts. It comes second. What comes first is the way you approached. So now, for example, a brand has approached you in a right way. So now we know what is the right and what is the wrong way. So the brand has approached you in a right way, and there is a meeting that you agreed on. So let's say you shared your email, they have emailed you, and there's a day that you are sitting together and you are getting into that conversation of a brand. So what a good conversation looks like. So what I would like to know from you is give us examples of a good conversation. That means what sort of preparedness are you expecting from the brands to come with? And second is, I should not say a bad conversation, but something which not get converted later on.
So basically, it's very much the same as the previous question, because if the conversation started and it will be based on the product itself, okay, I can listen, I can be patient, but I'm with Beatrice also. If you want just to sell me the product, but you have not enough information to provide me, we are wasting time, and you got this feeling straight away. You understand immediately. So the best things to do, the best conversation is to start with the icebreaker, to talk about anything else. Just as I said, generating a contact, something which we got in common, based on experience or passion together, whatever. And then after that, we can move to the business. But if you start straight on business or on tasting, and also you have not even which happen quite often, where you are talking with people they have not the technical knowledge that we most of the time we need, because why I should list a wine when I got the same denomination? What's the difference between a Chablis or another Chablis? What's the difference? It's a Grand Cru, it's a Premier Cru. What's the difference? Which is the area? So it's really very, very important to go slowly to start from a personal relation, an icebreaker, and then to move forward on more professional one, but with real informations.
You know what I'm looking for. We already spoke. We had a bit of a pre-agreement. You bring in the right amount of wine. You're ready to be questioned. And for example, and also you might bring me wines that I never tasted, and this is actually sometimes a very good surprise. You're still looking to impress me in a way that makes sense for who I am, not in the way of, I honestly, for example, don't really like to know who is listing your wines. Honestly, I'm a bit different on that case. It's not really the way I'm taking my decision to understand that other competitors has the same wine. So that's not really my thing to decide for a wine or not. I just go down for the quality compared to the price point. But At the same time, it's, for example, I don't know, I'm looking for Portuguese wines, and you bring me a wine from Azores, from the Azores Islands. And yes, it's Portugal, but I wouldn't expect that from you. And it's such a surprise. And the wine is amazing. And I might not have the space now, but it's going to stay in my mind. And it's going to come eventually as soon as I have a space. That's where my mind goes. You give me a bottle blind, has happened. And I'm going everywhere because that's a bit of my thing, right? So we have to taste blind wine every day. And suddenly it's from China. And the wine is amazing. And it couldn't be, you couldn't think of it. You couldn't call it as all these kind of things. I think the confidence of, I think when we are sommelier on the floor, the ultimate goal is to reach the confidence of dancing through the wine list without any issue. I'm not always suggesting Italian wine because I'm Italian. Absolutely, actually the opposite. I like to play around. One table is going to drive me through a certain region. The other table is going to drive me through another completely different region. I have this power in my hands, right? And what impressed me is where I see the same thing from the person that I'm meeting. So they know what they're talking about, and they can dance through their portfolio, even if they didn't bring the wine, but suddenly talking with me. Oh, you know what? I actually have the wine that you're looking for, and I'm going to send it to you next time, or I'm coming next week. And suddenly the conversation is efficient and has had value. So yeah, for me, it's always about down to the quality of the wines and surprising me with something that I might not know, or that I've forgotten, that I haven't tasted in a few years. So, but again, I think you need to understand that they have focus. You need to understand that they have a driven, and you need to understand that they have knowledge. Otherwise, for me, the conversation is already over.
So Beatrice is always anticipating me, but I actually agree 100% of what she's saying. If I think about the most successful example I had with new brands or a new supplier coming to my wine list, were the one that, as Beatrice was saying, they come prepared. We agree for a certain amount of wine, so they know we have a time schedule within which we have to stay. So if I say half an hour, it can be 45. So they come with 3-4 bottles of wine. Maybe they have already printed with themselves the tasting sheet that can stay with me, and maybe some other copies for my team that were able to try the wine. They know already what we actually discussed about. So it can stay with me, not the wine list or the portfolio. They actually what we tasted with price, with the eventual quantity availability through the year. So I know already if I want to place something by the glass, that I can rely on this price, and then we can agree probably on some discount because we're going to buy more than expected. And third, maybe they come with something blind or didn't expect to be there, because I always ask you for still wine, and they come with a vendage tardivo of something, so something that is in a sweet version. That again, I didn't ask for, but the wine is amazing. It will stay with me. And if I have to think about changing something, I will actually remember that tasting, and my mind will go back to them straight away. So for me is, again, coming prepared, not with a salesperson that has a day off, but someone that really is focusing on me and my team and my environment. So is prepared to take questions, even not the one that they like, but ready to go. And especially that has time, because, oh yeah, I have 4 other meetings after you. So they rush you in a certain way, or vice versa. I am in a rush and they don't understand I cannot go through whatever they brought. So it needs to be exactly what we discussed. It needs to be something interesting that strikes me. And it needs to be focusing on what it can be. So the most successful one always come with this right key. And if I see them on my wine list, is because they are ready for me. I really don't understand people that want to impose what they want, and they not actually see that they are the last one coming to the door. through the door. And so they need to be focusing on what I need. And then, of course, the relationship, as Dario was saying, it will become more as a friendship, as a professional friendship. So we get to know to each other. And in that way, we can establish a line. We can establish something that can be changed over the months of the year. And if we start with very few products, it doesn't mean that I like your portfolio so much that in a few months' time, I can add more, of course, beans onto my wine list. So it's always understanding the balance to what to impress with, and of course, to be focusing not just to charm me. So it needs to be balanced out.
Yeah, I can agree, but I mean, with Beatrice and Adriana, as soon as there is this identity between the brand and yourself, and you share the same, let's say, vision, then is a good start, is a good begin. Personally, I'm very much in love with English wines, sparkling wine especially, and even if a brand is already has its wine in the shop, but they come with other, or for instance, other size like Magnum, that would be absolutely a very good, successful meeting, for instance. I really like when the brand exactly known where he's coming from and where you're coming from. I really like details. I really like when they explain me all the label, why the label is this paper, why the label has this number, and I can mention Raffini, for instance, that has an extremely good label with the date of the dosage, when the wine was disgorged. They represent on the label a natural factor where the winery is, and that to me is an absolutely great starting point.
Super. So I think what is important is, as all of you said, is to know you and not to force or to push what they want on you. It's basically, it should be other way around. It should be completely a focused meeting. Well preparedness, I think, is the key point, that you have to be really, really prepared with. But what I liked and what is new for me is that you all are ready for surprises. That means you all agree that something unique, something of a USP, and something keeping in mind the buyer. So the core question, the main question, and that is that how brands can work effectively with sommeliers. So now the brand has done the conversation. Now the brand has entered into your facility and in your unit. What's next? What do you expect them to support you with?
I think personally, promotion is still working as a mean to increase sale, or as a mean to support the restaurant or the retail shop. I think also we should focus on visit the winery itself. So I believe wine tourism is something that we should take more on board, because I think is is kind of good to understand the brand, where it comes from. Of course, visit in Australia or California would be much more expensive, but there are, for instance, in Europe, there are some funds that the EU set, and would be nice also if this country should set some funds to help brands and premises to go and visit and have days, 1 day or 2 days out to visit the winery itself.
Well, in this point, it's quite easy to say, okay, to go through trips, tasting or whatever. What I notice in our company, if I can offer incentive to the staff, this will help me to to increase sales. Doesn't matter what, but the power of the incentive is so strong, and every time that I organize a competition, this will make the difference. I did even recently a few competition with some suppliers. It works. So this is it's a very, of course, it's important to go and visit the winery. It's important to do wine tasting. It's important. Everything is important. But when you are able and you got the ability to touch the wallet, to feeding the wallet of the staff, this will make the difference. Well, the next year for me, the focus is obviously will be in organizing more trip visiting, as I said before, visiting sites where this. I noticed that when you got the opportunity to bring the stuff in the winery, sales they jump, they go really very high, because there is the enthusiasm because they saw what does it mean to produce that wine. They saw how what there is behind. Maybe they can learn something more during the trip, not just about the wine, but even if they saw the environment, the situation where the wine is produced, and this generates lots of enthusiasm. So my program for 2024 is to organize trips together with some supply which are already in place, some are on the way to in discussion, and also I'm organized with some supplier also wine events, which this will help me to give training on site with the site, and also seems strange, but to train even the customers, because most of the time customers needs to be trained. They need to know what they are drinking, and then where you have no chance to during a dinner, you have not much chance to speak with them. But if you organize a wine event where you are driving the event, you can talk, you can explain, you can talk about there are lots of reasons for doing this, and this is my plan for 2024.
There are a lot of things that makes a brand reliable, and definitely it's the overall support. We're talking about from, it always depends on the volume that I'm about to make, of course, but it's always about possible discounts. It's always about free of stock. As in Europe, we can still make this kind of situations. In America, definitely, this is not actually is illegal. But in UK, this is part of our support machine, and it's very important. I can buy the same wine pretty much from the same appellation for the same price. So what can you do for me? Especially if we're talking about a potential big volume. If you're talking about, of course, different vintages or like extreme limited wine, that's a different story. So that's where the support comes from, the reliability of the numbers, because I had so many issues, especially in since COVID, to be honest. I think, we had also issues on the floor, on trade, and I can just imagine that off trade has been hazard. So I understand. I always try to understand when there are issues on communications, but if it happens constantly, you promised me I have 6 bottles of 2017, I order it, it comes 18, that's a problem. And that's a problem that a hard sommelier shouldn't face every day. If the stock is wrong and I call you, you don't answer on the phone, you're never in the office, I cannot reach you out, that's a problem. Why should I work with you if I cannot talk with you? So the reliability of the company as well, that is sending their people to speak with us also is very important. I suddenly had to cut people off because they were not reliable in the communication. And it's a shame because the brand and the wine was strong enough to be supported in my wine list. But the company that was working for them was not on the same par level. So definitely it's a cross overall. I think, as Dario said, the relationship is important. And when you decide that you want to work with them, so they have already opened the door, but the follow-up, it's absolutely terrible. That's where the relationship started to be questioned. And so I can find the same, maybe not the same producer, but I can find the same wine somewhere else. So that's where my decision started to change. So reliability is very important, and all of us, we are very busy, so we really need to understand each other. But at the same time, if it happens every month, I have the same issue, it's a sign for me to stop working with you. So yeah.
And what are your plans for 2024? What are you planning in terms of which programs to focus on more?
2024 it will be also coincidentally the 10th anniversary of my current company. So we are definitely planning big things. So definitely there is a bigger program in the future. But at the same time, if everything goes as I am planning in my mind to, there is definitely a bigger wine list to be implemented, and also bigger sellers to be used for guests. But that's my personal thing. But in that way, as I said, if it's about the efficiency, we are so much wasting time in our life that I'm not 20 anymore. So I need to really understand where my time is actually valued, and down to the brands, if my time is valued and supported, my time is correct to be there. If there is no support, probably that supplier shouldn't be working with me anymore. So I think in 2024, down to the 10th anniversary of my company, down to big projects coming up, I think it's down to reconstructing and revision the relationships. Where is the value will be kept, where is not the value, probably it's time to just, change.
So if I think about 2024, the focus will shift a little bit from the last couple of years, I would say, because retention for me will be the key regarding my team, but not only sommelier, bartenders, whoever works around you, because you can see the teamwork always pays out whatever you need. So if I think about any wine program, of course, as Chiara and Dario and Beatrice were all saying, incentives makes the most in terms of how the teams will approach the guest, and in terms of sales. So wine trips are always welcome. Sometimes it's good to split the team, because going with someone that is more skilled than you is always helping also to be focused on what a really good trip is about. So coming back with some skills and some more knowledge. So going definitely with someone that is a little bit more senior is always good. But definitely for me, to more as on a daily basis incentive would be the team to have a say on the wine list, not just because I want to put a wine and then it will be there, but like when we do tasting, to select probably a style of wine, or to select a variety, a grape variety that finally is on the list and we haven't had that before, maybe by the glass. So definitely to focus on what the team says or what the teams can do for you, and listen to them. Sometimes we're too busy that we want to make everything perfect, but we forget that actually also for us, the teamwork and what they do on a daily basis is coming to us as well as a head sommelier, or eventually as a wine buyer. And in terms of probably to propose to my employer would be to pay the day trip. So you go probably on your day off, and the supplier will do the rest. So it's on them to organize everything perfect, from the bus or from the flight and the accommodation. But sometimes you do this on your day off. So probably as an incentive to make sure that your employer is approaching the new year to say, actually, you're going in your day of work and you will pay for it, because it's a paid job that you do, and you come back with more knowledge. That could be something that we all can think about and implement in our environment. And talking about brands, for me, definitely when they keep their stock reliability is one of the key parts. So if I buy a 2018 and you are saying to me that we have a 6-month supply and half of the month, then you advise me by email that you jump to another vintage, that's a real problem for me. So I need to be sure that when I rely on you in terms of stock, then is what almost would be the final number that we're talking about for X number of months or for weeks. Because if it's a one-off sales and we took the last 3 bottles of this particular wine, then of course I know that there is a very tiny availability. But I know if I sell, then we can jump into another vintage, which is again very, very rare to find. So we keep on the same legend of high premium quality wine. So stock availability, reliability, as everyone says, the way you treat me from day one, and our relationship will go. You do stock, for example, you do training for staff, and you always plan to have through the year. So it's not something that you have a new product, we do the training, and then you forget about me for the rest of the year. So you always jump to say, are you available for this? I have a winemaker coming over, giving me the time to plan, not, oh, actually, he's in town today. Do you have time to meet me? So always timing it up. To say, actually, in 2 weeks' time, we have this wine producer coming, which is the best day that I can give you the opportunity to come and taste with your team, not only with guests, to involve the team, because the team eventually is the one that will sell the product. If they are involved, they will be your jolly angel around when you are not around. And probably the last part that I am very, very fond of is when a brand will come to you and say, actually, we can do a wine event next year, and I can give you this free of stock, as Beatrice was saying, because you did very, very well. You worked very well with me last year, so I think you deserve this, and we chose you. So this actually will make me think, well, if they are so happy to work with me and they're giving me this chance, maybe they are reliable to take on even some more premium wines, or we can extend something that we never thought about it, instead of going back to other people that they don't do much or they haven't done enough for me. So this is something for me very important.
Very nice. So what included for brands that how they can support sommeliers? So I hear incentives from all of you. I hear reliability in terms of stocks, but Beatrice, as per her, communication also plays a very important role. Wine events, loud and clear, trainings, consumer behaviors. I hear a lot of wine tourism also that has come up from Chiara. So I think in nutshell, it's really, really important for them to be a part of the journey with you and not just to leave everything on you, but also to work for the brands parallelly to make it move faster. That brings to our last question to all of you. And because we are on the platform of London Wine Competition, it's really, really important for me as an organizer, but as a person who has been, or you have been with us from day one. Couple of you are there from a couple of years. It's very important for us to also understand that we do understand the brand's journey. We do understand that how they can work with sommeliers. But then competitions or platforms like London Wine Competitions are also a part of the process. It's also a process where they pass through, maybe to get more exposure, maybe to get a fast decision, maybe to get the right feedback from the people who are the gatekeepers of certain distribution channel. So one is that why brands should enter into such competitions, what do they get, and what sort of wins that they should be promoting.
I think the London Wine Competition is really very important for producer to attend, because they can get a nice audience. They can evaluate the wines, and also there is considering the quality of the judge. It's really very, very interesting to understand that if I would be a producer, maybe I would be very attracted by attending this competition, because lots of very different palates they can taste my wine, and they can understand if the appreciation of my wine, at which level I can get the attention of the customer, or eventually if there is something else that I can do to do my product better. So I think that is to attend a competition like this is really very, very, very important for everyone at every level, because as I said, you can got master of wine, master sommelier, lots of wine professional which can taste your wine. I can tell you exactly how good you are, or if you still need to do some work, even on the quality perspective.
Yeah, in fact, being judged by professional is really important for a producer, either if the quality is really good, outstanding, but it's good also for average wines produced to get feedback and to work on and move on and improve the style, improve the quality. Participating to competition like London Wine Competition enhance your exposure, so it's good for a brand to participate, because otherwise you stay on your little world and don't grow around. And I personally, how the London competition is made is super, because you have to judge also the packaging, and that is when the brand works on consumer with little knowledge or curious, has to be like has to stand out of the crowd. Honestly, if you think of a wine in a shelf of the supermarket and is all black bottle, it doesn't honestly appeal, because it's confusing, and is again good feedback from expert.
For me, it's something that everyone should do, because the London Wine Competition gives you honest feedback. We all taste blind. We all reveal the product at the very far end regarding the packaging, but then you judge the product not only for quality, for price. Is this price right for the London market? Am I positioning my wine too high? Is my wine is so good that probably I have such an entry-level price, and I can go for a little more because my quality has been judged by all these wine professional in such a good way that I might put my product a little bit far up. For me, it's a 360 job that we do in 1 to 3 days, according to who is judging one day one on day two. And the feedback is always, I think it should be welcome. Either is a good one or is a less a good one. And people will always compete with different styles. Sometimes you decided to one edition to participate with one style of wine, and then the other year then you go for 2 others with different styles, and you may win the wine panel because probably is the right style or the right wine that you have, and then it can be easily put on the London market. London market is so difficult. I mean, it doesn't mean that it's good for everyone or is not ready for all the style of wine that we judge. It might be the case that we give a gold medal to someone that deserves because of the quality, and we give the same gold medal in another style to someone that is just at the very beginning of their career in the London market. So everyone is welcome to try to positioning themselves. Some other competition do this, of course, but they are all probably full of already new known wines, so already established. And some others are just coming up to the London market. So they have a very exposure to the probably the big professional team in 1 or 2 days altogether. And it's something that not easy made in London, when we are all free to join the panel and at the same time to have this opportunity for all the producers at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's just to reinforce what has been said. Competition is the key in our life and also for brands. If you never compete or you never put yourself out there as a brand, how can you understand? I mean, obviously, most of them, they might have done, let's say, a business plan, okay? We start to make this wine. That's the idea. That's the goal. That's the market we wanna break in. But it might be not the case. It might be that you have to tune yourself, and that's down to the quality of the wine and the price point. And having this type of competition, it's helping you to understand what actually is the market and the request out there, and also if the quality really it's where you think it is. So competition is very important in this way, because of it. Because you can, as a brand, you can question yourself if you are in the right moment, in the right market, in the right price bracket. And also, it's always nice to have feedbacks, and it makes a brand probably have enough window to tune themselves and to change things if needed to change. So it's very important.